Redbull, one of the best content creating brands out there.
Absolutely.
That's also a first, by the way. 0% intent to buy.
Great number of likes from 1.23 million likes on this video.
Wow.
Which creator should we focus on first? Should we go for Chris? We've briefly spoken about him. Or should we go for F2F?
The end goal of Redbull is not to move.
The end goal, folks. Did you see that? Did you catch that? That Shubham just cracked. The end goal.
So the end goal for Redbull is not to move drinks, right? They know that they're selling their stuff. It's going through the roof, man. Look at the average views per video. It's nearly half of the subscribers that he has. It's the best, I guess, we have seen on Inside IQ.
I think, folks, that's the verdict for this episode, that we'll actually be going. When I say something gives you wings, what's the first thing that comes to mind? There's perhaps only one brand that you associate with.
Not KFC.
Not KFC. And not just with wings, Shubham. Because this one brand is a brand which has basically redefined what marketing is, what content is, and what energy drinks can be or should be. We're obviously speaking about Red Bull, which is perhaps one of the most popular brands of the 21st century because of their various content marketing activities. Fun fact, their F1 team, most people say, is also a marketing gimmick. So you can see if somebody owns an F1 team for marketing, then they're quite wealthy. But we're actually not here to speak about F1. Interestingly, what's happened recently is that Red Bull sponsors a team called FC Salzburg, and they have been selected to become a part of the Club World Cup in 2025, the FIFA Club World Cup in 2025. Now, why this is important is because Red Bull is traditionally seen as a brand of adventure sports, but things are changing. They're getting into the mainstream, and today in this episode of Influencer Matchmaking by Thousand Faces Club, powered by Phyllo, we will be speaking about Red Bull. And two very, very fun creators, we'll be speaking about them. We'll be analyzing their content through Inside IQ. So make sure you stick around for that. But before we get into the depths of the numbers and the energy drinks and the likes and the shares, Shubham, who is also, by the way, folks, if you all didn't know this already, football fan himself, y'all can guess which, although his t-shirt won't say it right now, but you can guess which football team. You can perhaps guess in the comments, or if you've seen other videos of...
if you've been a viewer,
Exactly. If you would know. Yeah. But Shubham is here. Shubham, how's it going?
Going great. Really excited to talk about Red Bull, one of the best content creating brands out there.
Absolutely.
Every reel, every video, it's amazing, breathtaking. They use planes as props. They use people as props. Somebody's landing on a roof. Somebody's snowboarding over a roof. So correct. I mean, I'm on Instagram because of Red Bull.
Wow. Okay, that's a huge claim. That's a very, very huge and a very insightful way of putting it is when you said they use planes as props, and they really are, right? Like, I think it's such a great way of exemplifying not just the product but the feeling, right? And of course, it's a very popular thing in marketing these days. You don't just talk about the products, do narrative, but who else than Red Bull? Like, who's better than Red Bull when it comes to actual branded content, actual brand storytelling? So big fans of that. But Shubham, today our agenda is slightly different, where we're not really speaking about their content in particular, but two creators, right? And one creator you actually know, ChrisMD.
Yes.
So ChrisMD is obviously a very popular
good footballer,
good footballer as well. He was in fact a part of the the YouTube football
Sidemen charity football match.
The Sidemen charity football match, exactly. So I'm sure you've seen him there. But Shubham, two creators, and the reason why we're doing this is because Red Bull, as they sort of want to go from, of course, adventure is still a very big part of their brand ethos. But you see, even in India, they're going towards cricket. Now soccer is obviously soccer, football. Don't want to offend anyone. They're mainstream.
That's the thing about Red Bull. If you look at their, let's say content pages, Red Bull Japan, Red Bull Korea, Red Bull Spain, Red Bull US, and Red Bull India, of course, I guess, Indian oriented content. Every page has superb quality. Yeah. I've never come across a Red Bull page of a particular country which produces, mediocre content. So I have high hopes, like what kind of content can come out of a cricket, let's say, as a sport.
Absolutely.
So that's the thing. Like, I follow at least 10 pages on Instagram of Red Bull. Red Bull Japan, Red Bull this, Red Bull that, Red Bull cycling.
Yeah. Red Bull skateboard. I follow skateboarding and the hip hop thing as well, because I really am into that. But folks, let's get into it. Let's actually get into the depths of Inside IQ, to the numbers. But Shubham, my question to you is, which creator should we focus on first? Should we go for Chris? We've briefly spoken about him. Or should we go for F2F?
Let's go with Chris.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Okay, folks, we are here with our first creator for this episode of Influencer Matchmaking. We have Chris MD. Shubham, I love his bio, first of all. Doing this YouTube thing, don't have a real job. Like, I
Amazing.
already am in love with this guy. What do I say? Like, what do I say? But we still have to sort of, continue with his inside IQ, and let's actually look at the numbers. So, Shubham, now we're looking at performance for Mr. Chris MD. What are your thoughts? Because we have 6 million subscribers, great
Amazing.
average likes.
Yeah,
What's your entire thought?
It's going through the roof, man. Look at the average views per video. It's nearly half of the subscribers that he has. It's the best, I guess, we have seen on Inside IQ. Look at the average likes per post, average number of comments per post, and engagement rate. It's 2.1% higher than median. So it's amazing.
Absolutely. Folks, if you recall from all the episodes of Influencer Matchmaking, we know that 10% is usually a number that we ascertain when it comes to the subscriber to average views per video ratio. Here, we have 50%. Essentially, every other subscriber of Chris MD is watching his videos, which might not seem like much. Oh, that every second subscriber, but it is, trust us, it is one of the highest and perhaps the highest we have seen on Influencer Matchmaking. So clearly, some very positive feelings right up there, Shubham. So I'm feeling very good about this. If you look at his top content, of course, I would say that it's a bit, it's not as fresh as I would hope it to be. I mean,
But it's quite apparent. You see, Ronaldo is there in your video. So
sure, you can see the number of likes, folks, when just because you have Ronaldo in the video and in the thumbnail, of course, as well, then you have quite a healthy number of likes, which we have. So that is there. Intent to buy 2.38. Now we've started seeing this that, and of course, the number of contents that Inside IQ's analyzes 42. But
yeah,
2.38 is good. It's quite healthy. I wouldn't say it's the best we've seen or it's the most, most crazy number that we've seen here, but it's a healthy number.
Yeah. And the positivity is going through the roof, 95.24%.
Is that the highest, Shubham?
I think so, yeah.
So folks, look at this. The sentiment, and this is what is really amazing about Inside IQ as a platform as well, is that your audience sentiment and the fact that your engagement rates, your comments, your number of views for subscribers. So I'm guessing the way I'm imagining his subscriber base, again, we've just started out with his Inside IQ, but his subscriber base is loyal, right? 6 million, quite a huge number, but they're loyal, and they're also they have this affinity towards him, right? Like they actually really like him.
Correct. That's the thing about football fans, right? They are loyal to their team. They're loyal to the creator that they like. And see, everything is quite apparent. I would say Inside IQ has, analyzed very less number of comments.
Sure.
Because he's getting almost 1.5K comments per post. So I'm sure it's much higher than this.
Sure. No, for sure. That's obviously a sample size that Inside IQ has. So we'll be seeing how that goes. But when it comes to this, Shubham, which is growth and interests,
going well,
going great, because here we have, a great upward trajectory with when it comes to subscribers.
Absolutely.
And even with the likes, we again, folks, have that nice little December, January thing that happens. Bit of a fall.
Not much of a fall, because 127K to 133K, I think that's the oscillation you get.
Exactly. Yeah. So I think it's not too early, but look at this. This nice little, we have this, upward trajectory as well. So I'm very happy about it. These things keep on happening when it's a bit up and down. So that's the life cycle of a YouTuber, of course. Then I think he had Red Bull here and this gave him wings and now he's just floating. So clearly there's an upward trajectory there. But I'm getting great feels about this show. I'm internally, I'm feeling very happy about this creator. But let's obviously look at his audience. Boom. Okay.
Of course. That's a given,
87% actually as male, which is again given. 13% female. What's very interesting here, folks, very rarely do we see this because of the size of the country, is that the UK is at number one position, the first position at 28.3%. Look at the other countries, right? You have US, Australia, Germany, Sweden, Canada. India is lagging behind. Clearly, the Western countries, Shubham, and UK, of course, is
I would say mostly European countries, because football is a European sports and the UK is the epicenter of it. Because of the English Premier League. And I think Chris is also based out of London only.
He is. Yeah, he's a Brit, so I think he must be based out of London. Interestingly, the cup will be held in the Americas in United States, if I'm not wrong, in 2025, the Club World Cup. So we also have a nice mix where, he is second in line, the United States is second in line. So you also have, if Red Bull were to do some marketing, it's not that the US has been completely alienated. Sure, UK might be at number one, but we also have a good and a sizable chunk of people from the US. So that is very encouraging as well. And of course, we know about the gender. Last bit, folks, is of course interesting. audience demographics.
Nice.
So we have a nice clean 53%. We have a majority folks when it comes to 18 to 24. I would say that's pretty much, Shubham, if I'm not wrong, the Red Bull range, right? Like
Yeah,
if
definitely.
people are,
It's
the
right
college
there.
students. Yeah.
Definitely right there. It's typical. And Red Bull, I guess they have the same subset of audience. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think that is very, very positive. So again, what are your quick summary, Shubham, of this creator, and what do you think about
I mean,
him?
ChrisMD is a very good collaborator for any sports brand.
Yeah.
Right, be it
Sure.
a drink brand or some sportswear or anything. So it's a good match. You just
good
need to
match.
find the right avenue to collaborate with him, because
Absolutely.
I feel Red Bull is more like events collaborators, right?
Sure.
Not like creator collaborators. So
Yeah.
if he's going to Club World Cup, then of course, why not?
Yeah.
There's a
No,
good
for sure. I
chance you
think
can work with him. Yeah.
correct. I think that's a great point that, I see it as a match too, but in terms of content style, Red Bull
It's a bit different,
It's a bit different. And that's why, folks, we're not done yet. That's why we're not packing up our cards here. We also have another creator, the other creator for this episode of Influencer Matchmaking, right? They're F2F.
F2F. F2 freestylers.
Exactly. And we'll be sharing our screen so that you can actually have a look at their inside IQ as well.
See, it already sounds like a good match, Shri, because see, when you think of freestylers, right?
Yeah.
You think of that spirit, that free spirit that Red Bull brings.
Yeah. I'm already dancing. I can feel it. I can feel the freestyle in my own body.
Yeah, because Red Bull's content is all about doing something out of the ordinary.
Yeah.
Right. And these freestylers are not doing something that players do on on the ground.
Sure. They have skills. They have
different skills altogether.
Absolutely. That's a great point, actually, folks. And Red Bull folks, if you're listening, I think that's a great thing to keep in mind, which I'm sure you all do anyway because you all work there. But Ultimate Soccer Skills, Shubham, number of subscribers, of course, is double of Mr. ChrisMD. Average number of views, average likes, average comments are quite less. I would say engagement rate is lower.
Yep.
What are your thoughts on the performance, Shubham?
I mean, there are, I believe that they don't have only football fans as their subscribers, because a lot of people are interested in juggling or, seeing these freestyle stuff. So the audience is not that dedicated. So,
True.
yeah.
I think that I'm already taking a prediction here, Shubham. I might be completely wrong. Is that perhaps the viewers for this, the age demographic, I think I'll find a few more youngsters here because people are just scrolling on their shorts or just
maybe, and that's a good point.
13-year-olds, and they're just looking at that. So that's there. But let's see about that. We're not there yet. Looking at top content, so look at this 100-ball challenge. Messi versus Ronaldo. Oh wow, mini Messi. Okay, this is completely. I did not see this, folks, but mini Messi and mini Ronaldo. Great number of likes, Shubham. 1.23 million likes on this video. Wow. I think Ronaldo is such a bankable name.
Ronaldo is a big brand,
big brand, and of course controversial, sure, but Messi and Ronaldo, clearly they're still ruling the roost when it comes to bankable stars when it comes to the football world. So both these channels have that, so that's interesting to see. Very nice numbers. Okay.
That's also a first, by the way. 0% intent to buy.
I look at 100 comments. F2F. I think the kids who are watching this,
people are buying their skills. Actually, they are,
The products aren't flying off the
shelf. Not moving the merch.
It's not moving the merch. We're looking at 86% positive though, so not too bad here. But this is a bit of an egg.
Bummer, yeah.
It is definitely a bummer. So, but yeah, again, the comments are we can have a huge subset, but this is a slice of how things are. So, not the best intent to buy clearly because there's literally no number. But yes, we have a good audience sentiment, so I'm not discounting them on that. Let's go ahead with growth and interests. Okay. Interesting. We have, what is this thing about? Is the channel like 0% and just like static?
Flatlining, yeah.
It's really flatlining here. Of course, likes have grown, which is always a good sign. But I was hoping for it to be a bit better, Shubham, to be very frank with you. But it's been at this level, which is okay, which is not.
Yeah. See, if I'm Red Bull, I'm looking to see UK as the first number of the number one location.
Sure,
if it's not there, it's a red flag for a Red Bull.
It is a red flag for Red Bull, and it's also a red card because they'll be evicted out.
Red card, yeah.
So a bunch of reds here, but let's see if there's anything in the green when it comes to audience, folks. And audience, we have
UK.
Okay, we have 88% male, so clearly very similar to what ChrisMD had.
ChrisMD, yeah.
And UK is at 11.
But it's a very close call, yeah.
Very close call.
Yeah.
And this is interesting, Shubham, because now it's not about the European countries. We have India in the mix. So India, Indonesia.
Yeah, India, Indonesia, and the fifth name is the most interesting one because whenever it comes to style in football and doing crazy skills on the ground, it's Brazil.
That is actually such a well thought out point because Brazil is clearly there.
Should have been higher actually.
Yeah,
Brazil.
for sure. I think perhaps the language barrier might be a bit of an issue, but if you look at the other countries, Shubham, US and UK, I'm pretty satisfied with how these numbers look like, because since the World Cup is going to be in the US, they can always have that target audience, and of course UK being the UK, they also have that. So I think that's in the bag. That's pretty good. Audience sentiment, of course, because it's a male World Cup as well. It's like it's the Club World Cup, which is of course the men's World Cup. So I think it's not much of an issue for this particular brand and this particular situation. So I think this is healthy, and so is the UK-US partnership. But now, Shubham, is the interesting part, right? And this is where I think I'll want to take a bet that it's perhaps the younger crowd, and you can make them into Red Bull fans as they grow up. They're perhaps watching the World Cup for the first time, and then they see this F2F video and they see Red Bull there, and they perhaps become fans. So let us see what is the age distribution for the F2 freestylers. Let's go.
Yes, let's see the big reveal.
Okay.
Okay. It's mostly similar.
Mostly similar.
Yeah.
55 and 11%. Folks, and then you have 27%. So it's actually not too dissimilar from the last two sections were quite similar to Chris. So that's been interesting. I was wrong, folks. I have been proven wrong on this video itself, but it was an estimate. But Shubham, we are obviously tasked now with comparing, and it's an interesting situation where we are at, because I completely hear you when you say that Chris is hitting all the right notes, but style wise, I don't know if he would be the perfect thing. F2F are definitely on point when it comes to style, when it comes to content, the tone of the content, as we like to say in marketing. But the numbers are, I wouldn't say they're terrible. They're certainly not the worst we've seen, but they're not something that you would write home about as well. So what are your thoughts? Who would you pick for Red Bull for their campaign, for their new entry into football? And of course, they've been around in football, but with this avatar, who would you choose?
I would go to Club World Cup and then work with both of them, because because see, the end goal of Red Bull is not to move
the end goal, folks. Did you see that? Did you catch that? That Shubham just cracked the end goal.
So the end goal for Red Bull is not to move drinks, right? They know that they're selling their stuff to the right kind of audience. It's to just reach out to everyone.
Yeah.
And if they are looking to make inroads into the footballing world, I think Chris and F2, they're both suitable. They both have different kinds of audience, because and one more interesting fact, like these kinds of channels, they frequently collaborate with real footballers, right? Yeah. So it's a good chance to be seen around them as well. So it's all about being seen with Red Bull.
Absolutely, it's all about being seen. I think that's such a great way of encapsulate their entire marketing. Yeah, it's being seen in the right places and the right kind of people holding your cans. So that's there. So I think, folks, that's the verdict for this episode, that we'll actually be going for both the creators and both the creators, because Red Bull is a brand, as we know, as we've seen. If planes are props, then you can definitely afford both the creators. Of course, the consensus here was that ChrisMD has better numbers, but F2F has a style. So we have that fit which is there for both the creators. But let us know in the comments what you think of these two creators, of Red Bull as a brand. Who else could you sort of fit in to this entire matrix? We'll be very eager to hear your comments, and do subscribe to 1000 Faces powered by Phyllo, because we keep uploading videos when it comes to influencer matchmaking and fireside chats and just a lot of stuff about influencer marketing and the creator economy. So make sure that you subscribe to our YouTube channel for weekly videos and for weekly updates. That's been it from this episode of Influencer Matchmaking. I'm Shreevar.
I'm Shubham.
And we will see you next week. Bye-bye.